watching this video could genuinely change your life. You can become a millionaire with just £100. If you invest £100 at the start, and then £100 every month from when you start work to when you finish, using 47 years as the average time someone works across their life, and the annual average of the S&P 500 since it started at 10.26% gets you 1.4 million. And if you go quite far, or if you even just looking at the top, you've deposited 56,000, but you've earned 1.3 million. Of course, that amount of money might not be worth much in 47 years. So if we go 7% and interest rate yearly, so kind of account for inflation, you get 400,000. So that's £400,000 of spending power now. Then obviously you'll be cash millionaire, but it only gets better and better and better and better. So let's put that 10.26% back in and have a look at the bottom. Even just have a look at the graph, you can see how quick in the last years it catches up, meaning by the time you got to the bottom, let me show you. So the interest is this grey tab here, that's that individual year's interest. The blue obviously deposits, and this is the accrued interest, which is every year's added on top of each other. The final balance is on the right. So in that year's interest, 139,000 in 1 year on average. Of course, it doesn't mean this is going to happen. This isn't financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This is just me. I've done my own research, which I implore you to do yourself as well. Please do your own research. Contact who you want, and who you need to. But this is what I'm doing as a sort of like secondary pension. So when I get to that age, I've got a nice chunk of money to be safe. If I just change this to 50 years, you'll be at nearly 2 million. So that's 500,000 difference with 3 extra years, which is crazy. And obviously if you start at, put that back to 47, if you start at 18, you'll be 65 with that amount of money. But let's change it. Let's leave it. Let's put that to 0 for the initial investment if you just don't want to put anything straight away. And do monthlies of 200. The difference is double, literally double, nearly 3 million quid. And then you got even if you just add a year, 10 years, sorry, on top of this, by the time you're 75, 8 million quid. Obviously that's if you're not taking anything out, but you could quite comfortably, so in 35 years you get £79,000 a year, just interest. So you could just take that out every year, 80 grand, 80 grand, 80 grand, 80 grand. This is what I'm doing. I'm currently putting in £200 a month. Obviously, if you look at the S&P 500, let's from the last, you can see towards the end of last year, it had some massive growth in November, and it kind of got to the same time it's slowed down. And by the end of February, it's just tanked. Personally, I'm not worried about changes in the market. I've got my money in Vanguard. I do check it pretty much daily, even though I would tell you don't. If you use Vanguard, don't check it daily, because most people probably stop quite soon after starting because they see the money go down once. Don't check it daily. If you can, just check it once a month when the money goes in. You can set it to automatically do that. That's the best way, because the time is what you need in there. What I also use daily is I've got a Trading 212 account, and I claimed a free share. I don't currently have an affiliate code, but I'll put it in the description when I get one. And I use that to kind of work out how much it's going to change the next day, because I can see the percentage change, and I do work in a calculator what the difference is. So I kind of have a rough idea if it goes up or down, what it would be by the morning from like today's change, if that makes sense. So So let's change it that you're 25 now watching this. So you're 7 years younger, you've got 50 years. Let's say you're better, you've been in a job for a while, you've got a better salary, you probably nearly got a mortgage, or you've got a mortgage, saving up. Let's say you can do £400 a month. Yes, the amount of money you've got depends on your job, where you are in the country, etc, etc. But I would say £400 is probably doable if you can just cut back on certain things, because expensive coffee, you don't need the extra night out, even though it would be good and for yourself, just to kind of see your mates, but you can cut back, because a lot of people just buy a lot of tat online that they don't need. So £400 a month for 50 years. Actually, that should be 40 years, because that's 47. So yeah, 247. So it's not even far off, because you've doubled your monthly deposit. Obviously, it depends on how much you can start off with. If you want to start off with a couple of £100, even if you just start with £800 with £400 going in every month at the beginning. Look at the difference. 2.8 million. Let's go back to zero. You get £40,000 difference from £800, which is just crazy. Let's say you're 30. Let's say for 30, how much does that change to? 1.6. So let's change the amount to 600. Again, I understand £600 a month, £7,200 a year, but I've got to assume that by the time I'm ancient, there's no state pension, and I'm just trying to secure everything I can. Because at the minute, I would rather put money into this than if I had a mortgage. I'd rather put money into this than pay off mortgage early, just because the maths work. From what I've checked, the maths makes sense, because where the interest rates are, it's not too high, where the interest rate of the mortgage outweighs the potential gains of this in the future. So let's check. So 2.4 million, again, £250,000 by 35 years time. You've just got to keep at it, because look how slow it starts. Slow, and then it just catches right at the end. Let's go to the graph. It's a crazy jump, especially you're literally 10xing your money. Which is crazy. You can use any of these compound interest calculators. They all work the same pretty much. It doesn't matter. This one isn't special. It's just the one I've always used. Let's check if you're really able to not spend anything. If you don't spend anything for 40 years, or if you're in a really well-paying job, or you just don't spend much money because you're quite frugal. Some people are really, really addicted to being frugal. £1,000 a month for 40 years, it's nearly £7 million. And what you could do is, if you've got a good pension at your job, you could theoretically put your money in here until you've got enough for a house or a deposit on a house, and to fix up the house, then rent it, then use that money and build up again, and kind of move that onto property to property to property. Because the maximum you can put in a year obviously is £20,000 for a stock and shares ISA, which is what you should be using. Then let's put that to 47 years. Say you're 18 somehow, maybe when you turned 18 you received a sum of money, a very, very big sum of money of £20,000, and that's all you put in. You turn that into 2.4 million just for being well, quite clever, because obviously you could do a lot of money with a lot of things with £20,000 when you're 18, but doing this means in 20 years time you've got £15,000 a year extra, or £250,000 by the 47th year and you're 65. Starting as early as you can, the better, because because every month on top, theoretically, is 0.8% or whatever it works out at, being at 10% annually. And at the minute, for my age, every pound I put in now works out to be £88 by the time I'm 65. I'm addicted to saving because I've got premium bonds as well as the government are cracking down on savings and in a normal bank savings account because they want to get the tax from the interest. So I've used stock premium bonds as a emergency fund. I'm planning on putting a couple of quid in a normal savings account anyway, just so I can access it then when I need to, because obviously premium bonds you can't just access it within a couple of seconds because emergencies happen. But I plan on putting in money into this when I can, as I can. Obviously I'm tempted to move all my money anyway to Trading 212 because of the Vanguard changes to the fees, but I'm probably not going to change over because I just like how Vanguard is. I feel like using Trading 212 would mean I would watch the changes quite often, and I feel like that would put people off, because obviously I would recommend Trading 212 at the moment if you're just starting out. There's pretty much no fees at the start. You can make an account very quick and deposit money quick. Also try and find an affiliate code off any other YouTuber, so then you can get a free share worth up to, I think they're worth up to £100, and you only have to deposit £1 to be able to get a free share. That might take a day to be available, I believe. I'm not 100% sure. I can't remember, it didn't happen to mine, but it will. Whatever money you put in, your ISA allowance might show £100 extra has been used, but that's because you're waiting on the free share to go in your account, so they just do that so you can't overspend in your cash stock shares ISA. And obviously with the potential of the cash ISA being low to only £6,000 a year you could put in without being taxed, stock shares ISAs seem way better. Other than, obviously they're riskier, but for people that are able to put loads in, I can't. I'm only putting £200 in a month. It makes more sense, especially with something that I can personally see from the prior growth. Obviously, past history does not mean the future, but I'm willing to risk it personally. Depends all on your own risk. So I'm putting in £200 a month. Let me check how much is currently in my Vanguard. I think since February it's gone down £800, but I'm still in the, oh no, it's £950, but I'm still in the profit. And this is the biggest change I've seen in the negative, because obviously October and November they were £300 and £400 months positive, so it's kind of evening out the extremes, so that's why I'm not worried. So that's how much I've got currently in there. Let's put that to 43 roughly. I'm on track to be at, yeah, with £100 kind of addition, as in deposits. It'd be 110,000 because of, if you just take my investment there, it's complete deposit, which is not. But one thing you can notice is that's pretty much the same number as £20,000 at the start once, but then you deposited 80 grand extra. So the more money you can put in straight away and earlier, the better. But obviously, longevity just makes sense. My main aim here is just to get people to have an open opinion to invest in, because doing something like this could really change your life by the time you're pension age. It could mean that you could, even if you just want to use it so you've got enough to go on holiday every year once, or maybe twice, or even have a nice and really nice holiday once a year, and you just take out the profit. Again, you can have bad years and good years, but just have a goal in mind. If you've got a good pension anyway, and you put an extra into your pension, it's obviously tax efficient, then do that, and do this at the same time, put in a little bit in. I just don't see why people wouldn't do it, because it's tax efficient, and you can kind of, from the research I've done, it makes sense to do this. I'd rather risk it from what I've seen than just miss on the opportunity, because I've got all the time in the world. And if that went to zero tomorrow, it would be annoying, but I would still continue. And the chance of going to zero tomorrow, there's more likelihood of World War III happening, just because it's in such a vast market of the S&P 500. Obviously it's the top 500 companies in America, and when one drops out, one comes back in. So obviously the recent turbulence is because of the tariffs coming in place, which could mean it stabilises it and helps it grow in the future, but I'm going to expect this to happen when there's a change in presidency. I am going to be looking at diversifying some of it into maybe an all-world ETF, but I've got to do some research on that. So again, this isn't financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Price can go up and down. Just do your research. This might be something that changes your life.